Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Rebels TV here on the North Ballarat Rebels website. Great to be joining you once again to bring you all of the news from your favourite TAC Cup team. Shaun Kelly's my name, in the host chair as I will be every week, and joining me once again, AFL Victoria Talent Manager for the Rebels, Phil Partington. Parto, welcome back, mate.
G'day, Shaun, how are you?
Good to see you. Just had the locks trimmed for the show as well, mate. The viewership's going up and up and up, so you thought you'd better sharpen it up a touch?
True, Shaun. Yeah, getting a bit long there at one stage there, so just sharpen it a little bit for the viewers.
Very, very good, mate. Now, obviously no game to talk about last week, but we did have a couple of our current and former Rebels in action as well, so we thought we'd start it off by talking about some of our past Rebels who got a game in the VFL this weekend, and also Nick Horsler, who of course he's on our 2016 list, who played his VFL debut as the 23rd man last week in the VFL, and we thought we'd go straight to the source. The coach of the Roosters, Marc Greig, you pulled some strings, mate, and got him in.
Well, being a good ex-Rebels captain and all-Australian player, just made the phone call to Greggy, and that's the thing about Greggy, he's so happy to help out the Rebels players and knows a great pathway between the Rebels and also the Roosters, and phone call to the office, so Greggy, come in. He's popped in straight away and to give us a good 5 minutes of his time at busy time of the year with the Roosters playing well, but good to see so many Rebels boys from last year debuting, and also seeing Nick Horsler, or Lemons as we call him, get his chance as a 23rd player.
And more importantly, the Roosters getting off to a round one win as well. Very exciting. And as we said, we've got Marc Greig, the coach of the North Ballarat Roosters, in to have a chat about it. Here he is. Welcome back here to Rebels TV. A special segment this week looking at our VFL partners, the Roosters, and joining us, the coach of the North Ballarat Roosters, Marc Greig. Greggy, welcome, mate. Welcome to Rebels TV.
No, thanks for having me.
Really good week to start off the season for you guys as well. Round one on the weekend and getting the points straight up against Coburg. Well done, mate.
Yeah, no, appreciate your kind words. And what was made more special, I guess, is we had 10 debutants on the weekend. Obviously, a lot of those including ex-Rebels boys from last year, and we had Nick Horsler from Koroit play as the 23rd. So, a real young team. And as I said to the boys after the game, it wasn't just about winning the game; it was how we won the game.
Yep.
So.
I suppose tell us a little bit about how Nick went as a starter. As the first 23rd man for the year as well. Obviously, the 23rd man rule, great thing, giving young kids a chance to experience senior footy as well. But tell us a little bit about how he went on the weekend.
Yeah, Nick came into our team last week. Obviously, Big Oren Stevenson, our ruckman, has got a hamstring injury, so he's out for a few weeks. So Rowan Marshall, an ex-Rebel, he's now taken over as our number one ruckman for the year, and I've given him that responsibility. And we are light on for big blokes this year, so it was a great opportunity for Nick to step up. Although Rowe played most of the time in the ruck, Nick played as a deep forward, competed really well. I think he would have slept pretty well on Saturday night, obviously playing against men as such. So he got pushed around a little bit, but he was fantastic the way he competed. Just his football smarts for a youngster. He set up a couple of goals. The ball was going to go through the points, and he just flicked it back into Shawnee Lila, who put one through. So just little things like that. Showed that he's got a bright future. And as I said, he went in the ruck against a couple of giants for Coburg, but he certainly won his fair share of hit-outs and looked after our midfielders as best as he could.
You mentioned the ruck and you mentioned Rowan Marshall. I believe he was the man responsible for the winning goal as well. Not the first time he's done it in the last 12 months in various different stages of footy, and he would have celebrated it pretty well too, knowing Rowe.
Yeah, in an ideal world, like I said to Rowe over the summer, I'd like to play him as a key back or a key forward. Rowe grew 3 centimetres last year, so he's up to 202 centimetres now. But opportunities present at different times, and with Big O going down, I've had a chat with Rowe about being the number one ruckman, as I said, and it'll certainly enhance his reputation from the recruiter's point of view in the next 12 months, definitely. But possibly as his frame fills out, he's still a boy when you look at him. But within a couple of years, I'd certainly think that he can make the AFL list.
Rowers from the 2014 Rebels class, of course. 2015 Rebels class also saw a good chunk of your side on the weekend. I believe 8 boys making their VFL debuts. Well, when we say VFL debuts, fully fledged VFL debut. A couple of them had played under the 23rd man rule in previous years. But tell us a little bit about how some of the guys like Tommy Templeton, Matty Johnson, Joey Simons, those kind of guys went in their first games for the Roosters.
Yeah, I was really pleased with the kids. I'm calling them kids. I know it's senior football, but they were fantastic in regards to their work rate. I mentioned before, it wasn't about the win. We got injuries to just the way we won. We got injuries to Tony Lockyer and Louis Herbert. we class
Couple
those
of handy
as
ones.
senior players. So in the third and fourth quarter, we were down to 2 or 3 on the bench with rotation. So for the young blokes to actually be able to run out the game, but show the amount of ticker they did, was incredible for such a young batch. When you look at efforts, which I'll show on the vision this week, of Matty Johnson, number of tackles in the last quarter, Tommy Templeton, 3 or 4 intercept marks in the last half. Josh Webster and Ben Simpson played down back. They had some tough jobs with playing on some taller opponents. But yeah, all those young guys certainly contributed throughout the day. Yes, they made a few blues here and there, but that's what I expect as coach. And we all know that youngsters make blues at times, and everyone will. But yeah, I was really pleased with what we got out of the day for them.
A couple of really good chances for Rebels fans to see the Roosters in the coming weeks, with 2 Friday night fixtures in the next 2 weeks. This week up against Essendon at Coburg, and then the week after that returning to Eureka Stadium to unveil the new ground.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, we're excited. We play Essendon on Friday night over in Bendigo. We have Bailey Edwards. Yes, he's not a Rebels boy. He's a pioneer, but in saying that, I want to promote as a coach, but as a footy club, we want to promote TAC Cup footy. As I said, it should be an actual pathway for the youngsters if they don't get drafted straight up. If they can come into the VFL system, and we can help develop them over a period of time, whether that's straight away at 19 or 20, or whether that's 23, 24. We want to help out all young players, whether that be Rebels or Bendigo. So we can branch out over there this weekend, and then looking forward to finally getting onto our ground. Friday week, and it'll be an exciting night for Ballarat. Friday night football, Geelong, good AFL team, up against some young boys having a crack.
Yeah, it'll be a ripping one. I suppose just one last one, mate. Looking at that 23rd man rule, do you plan on using a few more of the Rebels? Is that your vision as the season goes on, to use some of the current squad members at the Rebels?
Yeah, it's funny on that. Over the previous 3 or 4 years, we might have had perhaps 6 or 7 we could use for a whole year. With the list we've got this year, I think we've got 18 on the list we can use. So after the weekend, with 8 Rebels boys being included, all that, they're actually been in the team now, so they can't be used. But talking with Parto, obviously there'll be players prioritised on certain weeks, probably later in the season. But as I said, great opportunity earlier in the year, because we don't have too many big blokes, that some extra Rebels will get games where they perhaps may not have over the past few years. So we want to, as I said, help develop from the individual point of view, but also we want them to contribute to the team. And with the young group we do have, it's pretty easy for the 23rd player to walk in and feel really comfortable, because a lot of 19 and 20-year-olds.
They know a lot of the guys in there already.
Yeah, so it's pretty easy for the youngster, I reckon.
Well, Gregory, great to see the Roosters up and firing for round 1, mate. Best of luck in the coming weeks, and we're looking forward to getting you on later on in the year and talking about more Roosters victories.
Yeah, no, thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
Mark Greig, the coach of the North Ballarat Roosters, back to normal programming, back to Rebels HQ, and we'll bring Parto back in and talk about the Vic Country trial games from the past weekend. Mark Greig, the coach of the North Ballarat Roosters, and once again, Parto, 6-point win for the Roosters. Great to see them up and about to start the season.
Oh, it's outstanding. The win round 1 against a good standalone team in Coburg, it was a great achievement. I know Greggy was happy, the whole footy club was happy with the result, and I got a few text messages that night from the ex-Rebels boys just saying how pleased and excited they were to have a win. Great.
Speaking of the Rebels boys, mate, that played on the weekend, bit of a different scenario with a lot of boys playing local footy and some good reports coming back. I did hear some 3YB radio down in Warrnambool where Taylor Wason was their player of the day with 4 goals and a best on ground performance for North Warrnambool. Jermaine Jones also very impressive for Portland in the Hampton League. But we also had a bunch of players playing in Victoria Country trial games on Sunday up in Melbourne as well. Obviously, it's a bit of a precursor to the National Under-18 Championships. I think there were 5 players playing on the weekend, with a couple of others invited but either unavailable through other commitments that we'll talk about in a sec, or Cal Wellings that was injured. So it was Tommy Williamson, Willem Drew, Shannon Becks, Lloyd Meek and Sam White in action. You were up there having a look at it, mate. Tell us how the boys went.
Look, we were very pleased. They came into camp on Saturday afternoon. We trained at the Essendon Football Club, the Hangar, in the afternoon. It was a great training session for the boys to get to know each other. And then into the camp that night, and against Queensland in Game 1 and Game 2 against New South Wales. So, look, it was a very high-end game. It was a lot of talent out there, and look, I thought the Rebels boys had grilled themselves really, really well. And we had Tommy Williamson played well, Lloyd Meek played well, Big Bexy was taking some marks up forward. It's really pleasing for the Rebels in the future as well. So, really excited what the boys may bring in the future, and hopefully get an opportunity over the next 4 weeks to play Vic Country. Who knows, depending on how their form's going.
And then also in action on the weekend, once again, were our AFL Academy boys, Jared Berry, Hugh McCluggage and Jared Corrowa, up against the Geelong VFL side this time, and a bit closer game than what they had against Werribee. And once again, the Rebels boys shining very, very brightly. Great raps, especially on Hughie McCluggage and Jared Berry once again.
Yeah, well, those two boys have been named the best in both games, which has been really, really pleasing. And Jared Corrowa playing a key defender or stopper role down back, and look, he's been playing against the monsters, Jared, and AFL listed players basically. So to have the opportunity to do that is a great learning curve for our players. And from all the feedback that we're getting from the AFL clubs, they've been playing very well and committing themselves well.
It's great to see the boys getting out and about and making some mark at some pretty high levels. Almost time to turn our attention back to Rebels footy and back to this week's game. But before we do, we're going inside 60 once again. The most popular segment by far here on Rebels TV so far this season. And this week, Parto, we pulled in one of the new boys, played very, very well in his first 2 Rebels games, and a boy that's come down from the Northern Territory to play his footy, Keenan Waterbury. Tell us a little bit about Keenan before we meet him.
Well, Keenan's some Big River Hawks, and he just played for the NT this weekend in a trial game against Vic Metro, acquitted himself well. A great young man, a lot of personality about him, very well much liked amongst our group. So inside 60 with Keenan.
Here we go, Keenan Waterbury going inside 60 on Rebels TV.
Around the club, Waters. Centre. Jed Anderson. Big River Hawks. Interesting. Berry. Tenor. Jake McQueen because he's a rat. Going to my first AFL game. Probably Jared Berry. Brandon Parford.
Keenan Waterbury on Rebels TV. Done very, very nicely there, Keenan. Acquitted himself quite well, although I don't think Jake McQueen's going to be all that happy to watch that one.
The Rat.
The Rat.
They called him the Rat.
Yes.
I haven't heard that one before, so that might stick.
The Lightning Rat.
Yeah, the Lightning Rat. So we have to wait and see what happens there with the young Lightning McQueen.
Yeah, really well done by Keenan Waterbury, who you'll see in action this weekend as Rebels footy gets back into town this weekend with doubleheader, 16s and 18s, both playing this Sunday at Icon Park up in Carlton against the Murray Bushrangers. The under 16s blown out of the park a little bit in their last game, so they'll be very, very keen to get back on the track. And Damien Ross has trained them up for the last couple of weeks, and we'll be very much looking forward to getting some more game time into them.
Yeah, we had a great training session last Wednesday at Ararat Football Club, and thanks to the Ararat Council and the Ararat Footy Club for the facility there. Fantastic for local footy. But yeah, those boys, it's their last game for the Victorian Country Championships for the under 16s, and hopefully get selected into Vic Country after that. So we'll be at full strength. The boys are back from Ireland, from St Pat's, so we're picking our best team there to go against the Murray Bushrangers, who are in good form as well. And then the main game, TSC Cup game at 1:30, which is going to be a really big game for us. We've lost the first 2 games, but we're going confident against the Murray Bushrangers, who are in good form. We'll have our AFL Academy boys in, a few other players playing well as well, so looking forward to the contest.
You mentioned that, some selection issues maybe this week as well. Jared Berry, Hugh McCluggage and Jared Corrowa will all walk back into the side, there's no doubt about that. And also another couple of players, Charlie Lee, who missed through injury, could be a chance to come back in. Callum Wellings is on the fringe as well. He may not be this week, but he's not far away. And also a couple of boys coming back from Ireland as well, Aidan Domick and Joe Dodd, that could be on the fringe of selection as well. So some big decisions for Fitzy to make during the week. Yeah,
it is. It's a very hard one for us. When you have 3 quality players like the AFL Academy boys coming in, sure they're going to come in and play, but that's footy. Unfortunately, we're going to have some hard decisions to make, and it's a moment of time. These boys can go back and play local footy, and play really well, and that's why we've got a rolling list all the time.
Yeah.
More boys perform our local footy, puts pressure on the boys in the team, and hopefully get through some good players throughout the year. But looking forward to this game.
And we saw that last weekend. Taylor Mason was first emergency for the game against the Stingrays up in Bendigo, and really turned it on in local footy as well. So for the boys that don't get their chance, the coaching staff are very much monitoring their pathway at local footy as well, and they can very much knock the door down if needs be.
Well, that's right. The boys are also getting their coaches to fill in the local coach report that comes back to us, and Fitzy and myself might make phone calls to local coaches to see how the boys are going, and get some mass information if we can on these players, how they're playing at local level.
Well, it's great to have you once again on Rebels TV for another week. We're going to head out to Icon Park this Sunday and capture all of the entertainment with the Rebels as they strive for their first win for the season up against the Murray Bushrangers. Parto, thanks for joining us once again, mate.
Thanks, Shaun.
Very much looking forward to Sunday, and very much looking forward to you joining us once again next week when we have our full range of segments. Mars Player of the Day will be back. We'll have Inside 60 back again as well, and of course the fantastic support of all of our partners, including McDonald's Ballarat, our naming right partners. We'll see you once again next week on Rebels TV.